Oh, there we go. Now we're actually
Yeah.
recording. All right,
Did
everybody.
we
Welcome
do the
to
sound check?
Yeah, we did do the sound check and everything seems to be okay, despite me having a new audio mixing routing program that I did not set up in OBS. Oh, okay. I have an audio source set out to go directly to OBS. That's why it's working. Okay. Now that nerdy pegboard geek crap aside, welcome to a very lethargic BetterBitnerBratChat podcast episode. Actually, no. Take two. Hey everybody, welcome to the Better Bitner Brat Chat Military Brat Chat podcast, where we discuss the impact on the family dynamic of military service. We talk to military dependents, spouses, and service members because everybody has a perspective on their own family. Today we're here with Alex Bagwell, and we're going to discuss stuff. Use take two.
We're redoing this again. Okay, this intro. I'm saying. But
There'll be a
at least we have it recorded, so we do have a blooper, right?
Yeah.
This will be a take 3 and 4 next time.
Okay, I'm gonna let Amber.
Okay.
I'm gonna let Amber do it this time because she's more eloquent than I am.
Take 847. It's been 84 years coming up from the Titanic. Okay, so are you still recording? Me recording?
Yeah, we got it. We got a new one happening.
Well, no, what I was figuring is just you could cut and we'll just start. So
okay,
yeah. So hello everyone and welcome to the Better Bitner Brat Chat. Today we are actually doing another very special episode with one of our fellow military brats, Alex Bagwell. Alex Bagwell has a very special story about some of the things that he has done and some of the places that he has been. And we just wanted to, commiserate that sometimes we all end up in different places in life. And it's not where you come from that matters. It's not, some of the things that you've been around. It's honestly where you go in your life. And so we're going to discuss some of those things. And we're going to discuss, just more stuff with Alex and let Alex just tell us what Alex has been doing in the world and how he's spread his joy amongst many. I think you spread joy. I don't know. What do you think, Jesse? I think you spread joy.
I think he's very jolly, and in maybe a decade that will be very, very apparent because that beard will be nice and white.
Exactly.
So we're comparing me to Santa Claus.
Maybe we have a special Christmas skit coming that we haven't fully planned yet, but I think you would make a really good Santa.
Dude, we're keep the bandana, okay? We need a leather vest, biker Santa. I'm calling it right now, biker Santa.
Yep, we'll do it.
1 second.
Oh Lord, oh Lord.
Lord, y'all, I love y'all to death. I really do.
We love you too, Alex. So fun fact, I actually got to see Alex Bagwell not too long ago. Oh, you have the leather vest already?
I have a cut, yes.
Yes, so we can go ahead and get you the
Yay! And it's got the red lining in it too.
Biker Santa, I love it. You are the biker Santa. We're gonna do it. Coming soon, Christmas, Alex Bagwell, biker Santa.
Yeah.
So Alex, getting back on topic and everything else, tell us a little bit about your life and some of the things that you've done, after transitioning kind of out of the military community. And
well, I'll start a little bit at the beginning. My dad was in the military and everything. He was with MI at Bragg for a little while. My dad got medically discharged. So we stayed in Fayetteville up until 98. And so after that Daddy got a contract with DBA Systems to go overseas. So we ended up in Germany, which was absolutely interesting to start off with.
But you got to meet me.
I did get to meet you, and I got to meet Jesse.
And so I have known Alex since he was 10 years old. So we go way, 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 way back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
way back.
way back.
Way back like car seats.
So I started off at Ockham Elementary, and so I spent half a year at Ockham Elementary, and then that summer progressed over to the Wiesbaden Middle School, where I actually met Amber that year, and then we went through that. Then high school, which high school was a different kind of thing. Transitioning from middle school to high school is always different for everybody. So, I mean, and always being one of those so-called problem childs within the school, you kind of get labeled. No matter, I don't care where you go to school, you're going to get labeled.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was the transition to high school was a little bit hard for me. I had a couple of learning disabilities. So when you end up also in a special, learning strategies, as we called it,
Yeah.
you also get, at one point, you get looked at weird until everybody figures out that learning strategies is not really for people that have learning disabilities. It's more like, hey, we're going to help you out. And people get kind of jealous because you got help to get your work done. So, but after high school, I stayed in Germany till I was almost 21. When I come up on the date in February, it was February 17th. I had to leave because at 21, and if you're not in college, you get kicked off your parents' contract. So,
Yep. And I think they
all
actually upped that age in 2007. I think they actually upped that age to 23. So 23 is now like the cutoff age that they just start cutting all benefits.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying that's bullshit. That's a
That-
year after I left.
I agree. Do you not think I 100% agree that, it is what it is. It's the government. It's good enough for government work, right?
Right? I was still trying to get my ID at the commissary so I could stay there.
No.
But I ended up moving to a small town in South Carolina. At the time, it was small. I'm not going to say it's small anymore. But I moved to Easley, South Carolina. And that's when culture shock hit me. Not ever living in the States through my teenage years. I moved here for family. And then I found out family is not family most of the time.
Yeah.
Only thing that's family is the family that keeps close to you, and it's not always blood.
Very true.
I got married while I was here, got divorced, had a son, and then I got married for the last time to my wife of 11 years now. We've been together 11 years, married 6.
It's adorable.
I got 3 great kids out of the deal. I got one, my oldest daughter's married now. Very happy for her. And so but in between everything's been a whirlwind.
So
I had life just kind of took me to places I didn't know it was going to take me. Some about I will talk about tonight, and some of it I won't.
And that's okay. You don't have to share everything. Just share what you
Well,
want to share, Alex.
well, I got into I got into cooking while I was in Germany. Absolutely loved it. Got here, I worked the Hyatt for a little while, got my chef's coat. I was excited about that. My first time. Ended up
Yeah.
running a little taco shack and everything called Taco Taco. And we did gourmet tacos. I mean, let me tell you, when I say it was small, like it was elbow to elbow every day in 120-degree heat in the kitchen. And it was great. So much fun with that. But after that, had a falling out with the owner and then started kind of just rambling around trying to get jobs cooking and everything. I did a couple of catering jobs, but that was food just kind of become my world. And I love
Yeah.
cooking. I absolutely love cooking.
So one thing One thing that I will actually say about Alex, because I actually had the privilege to swing up to Easley because Georgia is not that far from South Carolina. And I did have the privilege to meet Alex, his family, and his children, and he made some spaghetti. And the one thing that I will say is that that was the best Alfredo sauce that I have had in a very, very, very long time. He completely did the Alfredo from scratch. Oh my goodness, it was amazing. And he wants to start a food truck. So that is the one thing that Jesse and I are going to help him here with at Better Bitner Business. And we're actually going to help him to write his business plan so we can actually start trying to get pieces to help him get from point A to point B. So he has a collection in the shop. It's the Sinister collection, but everything that you buy within that collection will help him support his goals and his dreams there of opening up that food truck and actually being a culinary type business. So definitely check that out. And I will vouch for it myself. So yeah, seriously, most amazing, amazing Alfredo sauce. Like,
Thank
oh
you,
my
Amber.
God, it was great. So it's almost like the military. You have to log in to log out to log back in so you can log out. But you need a password to do that. And then they're going to check that password under 4 different things where you need the same password. And then when you put that password in, each individual section is going to 2-factor authenticate you again. So it takes about an hour.
Okay, and it muted me. So now, instead of going back through that entire rant, I'm trying not to cuss here. Thank you,
You're okay.
Opera. Thank you, Opera, for pausing the call for me and then resyncing it back up with crazy audio, whatever that was. Moving on.
Okie dokie.
You.
So other than the food truck, what do you want to talk about, Alex? What is
Well-
on your mind today?
Well, one thing I do want to talk about is one of the reasons you started this.
Okay.
I was an Army brat, but I'm considered an Army brat, not even a military brat, because my dad was a civilian contractor and everything when we moved. So I kind of got placed in the Army brat category, being on the Army base all my life.
Yeah. You're still
But
a military brat. You were overseas during a foreign war with all of us.
Dear
Exactly.
God, was I?
The rest of it doesn't matter.
It was hard for me. The transition was very hard.
Yeah.
I grew up in Germany. That's my home. I grew up in Wiesbaden. That anybody ask me where I'm from from Wiesbaden. I might have been born here in South Carolina, but that's just where I grew up. That's where some of my closest friends are. I still have several that are there, but a lot of us are spread out all over the world. And
Mm.
I want to thank Amber because I'm now getting in contact with a lot more than what I was originally. So, I mean,
You're
I
welcome.
got reconnected with Jesse, who I've not talked to in 20, 25 years, and we've had some really good conversations with each other. Hell, not long ago we just sat up and bullshitted the whole night, and it was like ended up being 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's our board meetings, you know?
Oh yeah, our board meetings are great, by the way. Hopefully coming to you live.
We're building. Okay. So it's only going to get bigger and better.
But no, I really did. I had a very hard time transitioning from living on an Army base all my life to coming back to the U.S. I felt like I did fall into a lot of things I didn't, at the time, I was fine with, but eventually it just had to go. I mean, I was a meth addict, got hooked on heroin for a little while. It was just very hard for me just to kind of cope. So my first marriage was a marriage of convenience pretty much. It was my girlfriend got pregnant, and so you try to do the right thing. It's like, hey, we'll get married, and that didn't work. And so it's just you fall into that whole cliche, I want to say, of going downhill.
And
I think I did pretty good on that cliche. Yeah, I think I did pretty good on that cliche though, of one step after the other being worse than the other. But no, my wife Shonda kind of picked me back up and said, I've got 3 kids and everything, introduced me to her 3 kids. And when we got engaged, I actually went to them and asked them, not her dad. One, her dad doesn't like me. We're not even going to go into that. We'll go to that story a little bit later. But I went to her kids and asked them if it was all right. Well, come to find out, her kids were pushing her to try to get with me. So, but I mean, I have been up and down with depression. It's really hard. Depression, if anybody out there that's listening knows anything about depression, they know how hard it is sometimes. A lot of us suffer with it.
I actually wrote something when I was 13 that depression is nothing but a drug. It is the spiritual equivalent to heroin.
Oh, you know what? I like that. I actually like that. And we'll agree with that 100%.
Yep.
But did the military offer me anything to help me transition? No. Do they offer vets anything to help transition? No.
Actually, they do now. They have their transition assistance program, but it does need a lot of work. It needs a lot of work, but
a lot of work.
It's still up and coming. So they've got some good things going,
But still, in all honesty, what do military brats have? Nothing.
We have a month.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know that. I was shocked when I found out.
Well, some of us do really well, right? Some of us are prepared and some of us aren't. Like for me, I wasn't asking any of the right questions because I wasn't really pressured to, like a lot of people that we were in school with, they were like, "Oh, I'm going to go back and get my license. I'm going to start driving in Germany. I'm going to, and the other thing here it is. Okay, I'm on the autism spectrum. And
Jesse, put $1 in the jar. We're gonna create a $1 jar every time you say that.
That would be a good thing. I'll donate $1 to Wounded Warrior Project every time I bring it up. How about that?
There you go. That'll work. That'll work.
So anyway, was never diagnosed in high school. Obvious case of traumatic separation with me as a kid on the spectrum, because I lost my grandmother early. Okay, and so high school was really just terrible for me because I was lashing out and even I didn't know why. And actually, being friends with Alex was one of the only things that kept me grounded. And we didn't really get to spend a lot of time together, but every time we did, it was always fun as hell because we were into the same music. And we had a lot of the same issues.
Yeah.
And my life after school was definitely because I was just straight up delusional, overconfident kid. That they're a dime a dozen, right? But I went to Alaska with this overconfidence and no driver's license, no car, no income to go to school, and I ended up dropping out of school for almost a year and a half while I was there. And hold on a second, I am really starting to get mad at. I guess they've changed something about the Facebook call window because it keeps asking me if I want to leave and it's pausing the stream. So I'm gonna have to figure I guess I got to go back to Chrome. It's probably going to happen in Chrome too now because they made changes, which I was falling apart over just a minute ago. Where was I?
We could always try this in Discord.
That's true, we can.
Very true.
But
if we got to cut and edit right quick, we can switch over to Discord so this ain't happening.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
All right.
Can we cut it and edit and splice?
Yeah. Yeah. Heck yeah. Okay. We are back, everybody. I just hit record for like the 4th time because there's some stuff that's not going to see the light of day.
Thank you. It's going to be the Star Wars Christmas special.
Yes, it is.
Oh, God. So, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. My life imploded just spectacularly in Alaska. Got married, got divorced after 2 years, came back in 2006 after some issue. If anybody wants to ask me what actually happened to me in Alaska, I'm not gonna air my dirty laundry on that because it involves people's families. But if you want to reach out to me on Facebook, if you ever need to talk about sensitive topics, any kind of trauma that's happened to you, I am definitely a shoulder to cry on, an ear to hear your pain.
Any of us on here are.
Exactly.
We will all listen. And trust
Oh,
me,
yeah.
none of us judge.
And I mean, I've been through it. I've been through it all, like blaming myself with very good reason for wanting to blame myself, and learning to accept the fact that sometimes the way things happen are trauma responses. And anyhow, yeah. So after about 2 decades trying to get mental health support in and out of various jobs, which I hate saying this because it's become kind of a meme, but I did work at Blizzard Entertainment for a while as a game master and billings tech support representative. My name's in the Diablo 3 credits. Shout outs to Pirate Software.
And thank goodness, because, well, the thing about it, you can definitely tell when Jesse left Blizzard, because then you had the birth of Diablo 4. I still
well-
have a bone to pick with Blizzard about Diablo 4.
Well, I had actually left Blizzard before Diablo 3 launched, but I did get my free copy, my free key, as
Nice.
and my name in the credit. I remember was taking tickets one night, and I pulled a ticket from the Diablo 3 beta queue, and I was like, "What?" So I was like, "I'm not supposed to do this." So I escalated it back into the queue, and I pulled another ticket, and I got the same ticket. I was like, "Okay."
I'll take it.
So I go to my boss and I'm like, "What are we doing here?" Because I keep getting the same Diablo 3 ticket. He's like, "Yeah, solve the issue." And I'm like, "Okay, don't really have any documentation on any of it, but I'll give a crack at it." And so I did that for a while before eventually leaving the company because of a psychotic break.
Yeah.
And anyway, here we are. That was 2012. Here we are roughly 13 and a half years later. And I'm a whole dead partner into my current life, and with a new partner in Canada. So I don't know why this became about me. I need to shut up. Alex.
We're just talking about the background and what we ended up in, doing. That's how that started, Jesse. And then we had to edit some stuff, and we just let you continue.
I
Yeah.
know, but I feel like I'm making it about me, and I feel like
No,
total.
no,
No.
it's actually about where we all landed.
Yeah,
How we landed
exactly.
there.
And
That's
and
what it's
the
about.
whole entire, the whole entire, benefit situation and things of that nature, because that transition is very, very hard for kids, especially, when they hit the age, of 23, all of their benefits and everything get cut. The way that the GI Bill works, they make, you have to choose your one child that can go to college. Now, if you have 4 or 5 kids, hey, I'm so sorry, little Sally, you can't go to college, but little Johnny can because he was the firstborn, and that's what we can afford. And so what you actually see a disparity in, and I honestly hate to say it, and I'm gonna say it because I have no filters at this point. Like I said, I'm a new civilian. I don't have cares anymore about chains of commands. Okay, but you have the definite officer versus enlisted. Okay, and then when you have that definite disparity between the officer versus enlisted, then you also see that trickle down into your DoD dependent civilians. And the whole entire thing, your veteran, yes, they have a choice. Okay. They sign up for their benefits and X, Y, and Z. We were born into this. Okay. My baby plate, for example, I have green baby booties. Not a lot of people are around these days that know what that means. But that was my baby plate. Okay. When you start to look at those things, and when you start to look at, where we ended up, why is that disparity there? And that's kind of what really, really, affected me on why I wanted to make this podcast. Because the thing about it, you guys will attest, I have worked hard for everything I have ever wanted in my entire life.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys knew me when I was walking dogs. You guys knew me when I was booking bands. Y'all have known me for a long time.
Yeah.
to say the very least, I've always done everything that I could, but, I didn't have that I had scholarship opportunities and everything else. I excelled in my academics, but like I said, my dad was sick. My decisions were based to be close to my family, to be close to home. And so I worked 2 and 3 full-time jobs after I got out of high school just to honestly to be able to support myself to go to school, because I also pulled 15 credit hours at the University of South Alabama. So I did that for a very, very long period of time. Didn't finish my bachelor's degree. I was like, oh goodness, I wasn't even that far away from getting my bachelor's in computer science and programming. I got into a car accident. Once again, had no benefits at that time because I was working the 2 full-time jobs. It was something that was bare minimum because I was doing a lot of nonprofit work. And the thing about it, I got into a really bad car accident. And so my brother, he had to scrap together because I totaled my car, and to get my car and my license when we first came over here, because I didn't get my license when I was 16. I didn't get my license until I was about 19. And I would walk about 5 miles back and forth to work every day just until I could save up enough money to buy my first car. And then when I bought my first car, I would sneak out of my house sometimes at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning to teach myself how to drive said car. And then my ex-husband at the time, he actually taught me how to drive. He was one of the first people to teach me how to drive. And so that's how I got my license. That's how I got up and running. And I've constantly been working, like that. Now I've gotten into a lot of bad situations. The first person that I was with, that I had moved in with, because there was a time that my ex-husband and we were separated for about 5 years. I did live with somebody. It was a very abusive situation that I don't really talk about that much. I was assaulted. I lost some children. There were a lot of things that were there. And I never stopped working. Like I was full-time general management. I had 96 employees at 19, 21 years old. I was overseeing a lot of different establishments and things and just doing everything I knew how to do. And then, I married a service member just like my father, because for some reason we fall into that life. Even if we don't want to fall into that life, we're somehow still connected to it. So I did what I said I would never do. And I married a service member like my father. And, that's how I got into international banking and doing all of these other things that I've done. But that was still a very abusive situation that I ended up having to flee from. And because of, your 10, 20, 30 rule, even though my ex-husband and we were together for, off and on 21 years, we divorced, or I should say he divorced at 9.5 years on purpose to deny benefits, because that's how abusive that situation was. And so even when you look at it and you look at, what's fair, where is the supplement there? What does the VA do? What does funding do? What does X, Y, and Z do? And so you still have veterans that are not taken care of. You still have families that are not taken care of. And so, yeah, that's what I want to do with Better Bittner Business, is to create that transitioning piece that's very much needed, that's not in the military community. Because as you guys have attested, there's nothing out there once you hit that age of like 23, and there's no support. But by the time that we're 10, some of us have seen war. Some of us have seen things firsthand that other kids, that other people out there will never ever see in their lives. And we have to live with that. That's what we have to live without that choice. We didn't make that choice to live with that. That choice was made when we were born, and that choice was made when we were born into the military community. Bottom line.
I mean, like you said, talk about seeing war. I mean, some of us might not have actually been there, but we were a lot of us were there at 9/11 when we got stuck on base.
Yeah.
And so, and being
the Kurdish protest rallies too. Those were prominent, and people will still say, well, those never happened. There's no evidence. We were all over there. We know what happened.
Yeah.
No? But,
when 9/11 hit, I was living in a small town called Bischofsheim, and it had a small part of it was a place called Little Turkey.
Yeah.
So, and I used to walk from our apartment to a donor shop right down the street and everything. And it was weird because I walked in there a couple of days after it happened, and one of the guys in there just laughed and everything. Well, because we would become good friends with these people at the shop, the owner actually kicked them out for doing that and everything. Because I mean, we never caused any trouble. We're not. I was the only American in that area at the time. I mean, I was right outside of Hochheim. So, but I mean, it was different. I mean, I remember Daddy going and checking for bombs underneath the car as a kid.
I
mean,
still do that. Every once in a while, I'll get like a spider sense, and I'll still have to check underneath my car.
Yeah, I do it too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just we didn't grow up like people in the U.S. We grew up different.
Yeah, we did.
And so, and when people hear, when you talk about your childhood and you talk about things like that, people here don't understand.
No, they don't.
They don't understand, we weren't scared. We were worried, because we don't know what could, we go downtown, we don't know what could happen after this.
We did what we had to do.
We did. We did what we had to do. But in all honesty, we were never really by ourselves downtown. I mean, we might have gone by ourselves, but we always ended up meeting up or seeing someone and been like, hey, what are you doing? Are you downtown? Yeah.
Well,
I mean, hell,
some of us, I did stuff.
I did stuff.
I did stuff.
I mean, it don't matter what anybody was doing. Where was the biggest meeting point for everybody when we went downtown?
Oh Lord, we would usually, it depended on like where we were coming from, but usually we would meet at the bridge.
Or the McDonald's.
Yep.
we were in front of McDonald's.
The park right outside the Bahnhof is where I used to meet Matt and Nick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We met there too. I actually met up with Crystal Penzick when I was back in Grafenwehr. I still want to get her on the show. But yeah, no, she was doing pretty good. But we actually met back up in Wiesbaden at the Wiesbaden Bahnhof, and we sat on a park bench and talked for a couple hours and walked around the park down there. It was great, just reconnecting with her when I was back up there.
I mean, that was. It seems like it was a lifetime ago, but it really wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, but like what I'm saying about about the transition, we live like this, and then we transition back to the U.S. and we don't have each other's support anymore because life goes on and life happens and everybody spreads out. And you keep in touch, you keep in touch with certain people. I kept in touch with Doug Espinoza forever. I mean, I got back to South Carolina 2 months later, Doug's in Bragg.
Yep.
And so next thing I know, like Doug's like, hey, I'm coming to see you. Okay. I mean, Doug was for the longest Doug my support.
You and Doug got away with stuff at McCully Barracks too.
Allegedly
and hypothetically, y'all got away with stuff at McCully Barracks. I can't say anything because allegedly and hypothetically and theoretically, I got away with stuff during the whole entire Great War on Terror because I renamed Windows doors and I played World of Warcraft with my cousin. So
yeah,
we all do.
Talking about the difficulty transitioning, and this is the thing, right? Like my parents, they gave me the insurance information. I didn't know how to use it, and there were several times I had to go to the ER, and like nobody asked me for my insurance. They asked me if I had insurance, and I'm like, I don't, and like they'd ask for my ID, and I still had my overseas military ID. That was the only form of ID I had. I'd hand them that. Not a single light bulb went off. Oh, hey, this guy's probably got benefits through the U.S. government. We should probably look. No, they just wrote me a massive freaking bill and sent me on my way.
No, yeah.
And I remember getting home finally to Texas, and I had like this bulging envelope full of like missed payments and all these medical bills. And my dad took it and just threw it in the trash. And he's like, look, if they have a problem with you, they can talk to me and we'll get them set up and they can get their money. They'll get whatever the U.S. government is going to give them and be happy about it. So,
I mean, and that's something, that's something we don't learn. And that's something I think that, especially within, the military community and for the military brats, that's something they need to learn in school. Like, I think there needs to be something to help. Like, if you're about to PCS, I think there should be like we had the ACS for everything.
Yeah, we did.
I think there should be something to help them transition, especially if they're, going to college,
Mhm.
or because that's transitioning back, and people don't think that's transitioning because they're just going to come back. But no, that is transitioning back into the U.S. world.
So the thing about it, Alex, that's what we're creating. You know that, right?
I know.
We're building it, and we're building it better. That's my tagline for this Better Bitter business. We're building it, and we're building it better. That's the value proposition. Bam.
And I feel like the education system in general, everywhere, okay, they want to make sure that you learn calculus, and they want to make sure that you learn all these different scientific disciplines, and not, hardly ever will you find a school that is like, okay, taxes are a thing. Okay, this is how you apply for a job. This is how you write a resume. This is how insurance works. This is how car insurance works. This is how you maintain a bank account. None of that stuff is taught in school, and they throw you out into the system afterwards. And unless your parents have been super vigilant about it, you have to all of a sudden basically take several credit hours worth of, holy crap, how do I work my life? And now imagine that you've been living on a military base the whole time, and you had basically a lot of this stuff just kind of taken care of for you immediately, no questions asked. And you've got the whole aspect of not having learned any of it because it's just not taught in school, combined with the fact that now you're back home and you have absolutely access to none of the benefits that you had when you were abroad.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know we were the last generation in our home economics class to be taught how to balance a checkbook?
I didn't know that. I do remember learning that though in like the home ec.
Yeah,
See,
we were the last generation to be taught that.
that's the thing, is home ec wasn't a requirement. At least I didn't have to take it to graduate. I mean,
No, I didn't have to take. I just wanted to take so I could cook because there was no culinary classes
oh man,
but now there is. By the way, I just want to point that out. Now there is.
So the reason why I took home ec, okay, no lie, I am a nerd. That's just how that works. You guys knew me. I think when I graduated with like 188 credits. You were only supposed to have 120. I was also Model UN. I'm just a weirdo. That's why I took home ec.
well, the thing about it, God, never mind. I'm starting to branch off into tangent here because I don't know what the incident was in particular, but the home ec teacher, okay, ended up taking a sabbatical like during my middle year, like my sophomore and junior year. She wasn't there because
Didn't Miss McClendon teach home ec?
I have no idea. All I know is what she used to run the baccalaureate. She ran the baccalaureate program.
Yeah. I think it was Tavis's mama, Miss McClendon. I can't remember.
It was what was her name? She was an older lady.
I know who you're talking about, and I cannot remember her name. I was trying to think of her name as we were talking, and I could not.
Yeah, I know Nick Wade remembers her name because he was in the class where the incident occurred where she kind of lost her mind at the kids because they ended up like blowing up a spaghetti dish in the oven or something like that.
Oh no.
That was my class.
Oh, were you there when that happened?
Yeah,
was it
I was there. No, it just so all it was like so somebody that I don't remember exactly who did it, but someone actually put metal in the microwave and the whole thing exploded.
I remember when that happened, and I wasn't in the class, but I remember hearing it down the hallway when the explosion.
Because
Yeah,
it was like, oh, now we're getting evacuated for a bomb.
because I was in Mr. Farrell's class when that happened, and I'm like, why are we all going outside?
Funny because
Yeah.
Farrell's class was above home ec, was above the home ec room.
Yeah, we heard that up there. Wow,
Yeah.
I always wondered what did that. That was okay.
So it turned out that like
I remember
the
that day.
spoon dropped into the bowl and the spaghetti got put over the spoon and no one realized it. So, when you're watching this, you got little lightning strikes hitting spaghetti and everybody thought there was metal in the spaghetti. And then it was like, oh, it's not looking good. And then the thing just exploded.
Oh, wow.
So
That reminds me of that meme. I just want to make ramen, but I don't know why it's making many lightning storms.
Yeah.
It's because you put the foil packet in there and didn't open it. Didn't dump it out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we've all
So-
made little mistakes like that.
So getting back on topic, okay, because I think we've gone off on a couple of tangents here, but that's okay because Jesse's actually editing on this episode. So
Well, you know what? This is what happens when all three of us get together anyway.
Yeah, but
so
see, the fun part is what funny stuff is getting left in the episode and what's not.
Who knows?
please don't throw me under the bus because
No, it's not going to be anything bad, okay? We're not going to be talking about the chapped lip incident of 2025, okay? It's just going to be my blooper of an intro, and
Can we? Hey, when Amber says talk about getting thrown under the bus, can we have like a bus beep goodbye?
yeah, dude, I
Beep beep.
Go home, Bessie. You're drunk. Beep beep. I'm a milk truck. I'm sorry.
no, like we can add tons of little meme animations and sound effects and stuff.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
that's the future of Brat Chat.
Yeah, that
Future
really
Brat-
is.
So, what else do you want to share, Alex? What else do you want to enlighten the world with? Because we talked a little bit about the benefits.
I am, and I'm going to apologize because I said I wasn't going to do this on this podcast, but I am like having an issue right now, so I am smoking.
Okay. We have things that we can edit.
Dude, no, I go ahead, light one up. Give her. I have a chibi anime picture of Alex for the ladies. That's going to be up on the screen as he smokes.
Oh, you still got that one?
Yeah, I do.
Nice. Okay, we'll work with that.
I don't know what they're talking about, and I'm slightly scared.
This is an 8:00 in the morning thing that happened.
Yeah, I have
I'm really slightly scared. Okay, you guys are scaring your boss. Okay.
No. It's nothing bad. It's just a little chibi anime picture of Alex that I used for the Halloween episode because I wasn't recording video for like the first 10 minutes, so I just put anime pictures of us up on the screen.
Oh, okay. I'm excited to see it, but then again, y'all do amazing work. You already know that. I love you, like you're my brothers. Y'all are great people.
And look, I'm going to say one thing, and I don't know anybody else has come on here, but like this has helped me in the last 2 months we've been talking.
Yeah.
This has helped me better than any sort of therapy I could ever have. I mean,
thank you.
We have all talked outside of this. Hell, and when Amber came to see me, we were up to almost like 4:00 in the morning just talking. And it was, just something that like I needed. And even my wife was like, after Amber left and everything, my wife was like, "Did y'all have a good time last night?" I said, "Yeah, we did actually." And my wife absolutely loves both of y'all, by the way. And like, she asks about every time, like she knows I've talked to y'all. She asks if everything was all right with everybody and make sure everything was good. So,
well, see, that's the thing that
And
I've
so
been
now-
realizing. Like I said the same thing when we had Michael Floyd on. I always thought everybody hated me in high school because I hated myself, and the more people that we talked to, the more I realized, like, people kind of generally liked me. Like, they were probably concerned about me in a lot of ways, and rightfully so, because I was a bit of a troubled kid. But like, nobody like outright hated me. But yeah, like
I
being
see,
able.
I've been trying to look out for you since you were 16. No, we didn't hate you.
No, but
No, like,
look, this is what I get when my phone rings, and because one, my phone don't ring anymore, it just vibrates, and it's like it'll wake me and my wife both up like for sleep. If my wife's like, "Is it your girlfriend or boyfriend that's calling?" And I'll look up and be like, "It's Jesse." I'll be like, "Oh wait, no, it is Amber and Jesse." She's like, "Oh, so it's all both of them." But she absolutely loves both of y'all. She does, and everything. And so, but and she sees this as and she sees this as helping me. So,
Good.
but
I'm glad.
I mean,
I'm glad we're helping.
I mean, you know, it's just it kind of like everything has finally come to like almost a circle with me.
Hmm.
And you know, this again, this is probably the best thing that's happened to me in a long time. My wife watched me suffer through 4 years of hard depression. I mean, it was rough on her and everything, and just but watching me kind of pull myself out, and now having help to pull myself out and everything, because you can talk with your parents about so much, but it's only people that's been there and know what you're going through that can kind of help. And sometimes your parents just haven't gone through the same things you have.
well, I mean, normal,
So
and the thing is, like, normal. Your average American kid, they live in their hometown. They have this kind of like familial relationship with their
yeah,
community, and we did too, but we're totally disconnected from that after we turn
Yeah.
18. And even when I was still in the system, one of the things that became an issue for me was that, and I've been dreading talking about this, but I really want to get it off my chest. When my cousin, okay, got with her kid's father, and she had a baby on the way. The baby was mixed race. He was black and white, okay? And I watched it kind of tear my family apart because some people didn't care, other people's it was a major issue. And I watched how she was treated during all of that, and it scared the hell out of me, and I kind of, up until that point, I'd been wanting to get back to Texas to be with my family, and to see all of this happening, and right when my grandmother died as well. you know when I was in Germany, really early on, there was a really sweet girl that liked me. Her name was Charlene McGuinn, and I wish I could track her down because I want to
I
talk to her.
remember Charlene. I loved her so much. She was the most lovely person.
She was, and she asked me if I would date her, and I panicked because I I was sitting there thinking about everything that my cousin had just went through, and also as a kid who was struggling with his identity, I knew something was different about me in regards to what kind of relationship I wanted. I didn't realize that I was gay at the time, but I feel like that, coupled with the fact that I was just absolutely terrified of my family not wanting to be around me if I was in a interracial relationship. I told her flat out, my family does not approve of interracial relationships. Okay, and
Mhm.
she sent me an email saying that she couldn't believe that I had said that, and I was trying to explain it, but I so, like I said, as an autistic person, social interaction, I didn't know how to really frame what I was trying to say, and I don't know if I even really had the guts to just admit the fact that I was afraid of what my family was gonna say. Because honestly, outside of all of that, I would have loved to have been her boyfriend, okay?
Yeah.
Because she was
we
super
went to
she
school with someone
was
named Charlene.
yeah.
But on the flip side of Jesse, and this is coming from just the woman's perspective, okay? And I don't want you to take this the wrong way because what I'm about to say, some people may consider a little cruel. But looking at it from the woman's perspective, she honestly, in that respect, dodged the bullet. Because seriously, if you're going to be with somebody, it doesn't matter what your family thinks or anybody else thinks. You choose that person and you're with that person. And everybody deserves to have a person like that. And so in that respect, it probably all was for the best in the long run of things. So I don't think you should have regrets about that these days.
Well, I mean,
you know,
I've beat myself up over it for like 25 years now, and I I don't think I'll ever really forgive myself for it. But at the end of the day, I was 15, you know,
exactly. And
and
it's sometimes it's time to let some of those things go if you're still beating yourself up about that.
absolutely, and,
You know?
like I said, family was always a really big part of my life, and I remember being young in Japan and being told, "Oh, well, your uncle's gonna move to this state, and your aunt's moving to Dallas," and like all of these people were moving away, and I was like, "I'm never going to have that rich familial connection that I had when I was really little," you know? Like my aunt driving me around listening to Whitesnake, getting Dairy Queen, like that was gone. I was never gonna see my Uncle T again, which he ended up not moving, but that's all beside the point. Like,
See, my two uncles were my best friends. Okay, they were my first best friends, and a girl's first love is always her daddy. My second two loves were probably my uncles. So my Uncle George and my Uncle Mike. My Uncle George, he was actually an MP in the 101st. He was in the Gulf War Desert Storm in Panama. So I was born military. This is, like I said, this is all I've ever known. And so when we start talking about, well, do you have the attachments to your family? What I remember is my Uncle Mike loved Guns N' Roses and Bon Jovi, and that was his era. So the big 80s hair bands. And so when I think about that, I think about my Uncle Mike, and then I think about, everything that was going on during the time with my Uncle George. And like I said, it's just those are the good memories, when you can remember having those things with your family, because they were so precious when you got to spend those little moments and those little times with them, because you moved around so much, you were constantly away from that immediate connection. So I just wanted to add that, because those are the awesome memories
it's
that
funny.
life are made of, right?
My Uncle Mike that I talked about in episode 3, it's
Yeah.
funny. He told me one time, like, the last band I ever really gave a crap about was Guns N' Roses. Which I just think that's hilarious. But yeah, like you know, as a child, I was very desperate to keep that familial connection and just scared to do anything to upset it. And I let it make me make one. Well, it didn't make me. I made the mistake. No matter how young I was. Yeah. That's just who I am in terms of how I relate to people. I get really attached and I make irrational decisions, but I think everybody does that to some extent.
Oh yeah. And you have to understand too, because that attachment's there. We say goodbye to our best friends every year, 2 years growing up. Goodbyes become accustomed. As hail and farewells, they're celebrated, right? That's just a part of the military thing. It makes it a little harder when you're trying to adapt growing up, only because, you never had those opportunities as a child that a lot of children have. And so, yeah, I think in some aspect, most military brats, if not all military brats, do form attachment issues later in life. So I don't think
Y-
you're alone there, Jesse. I really
You know,
don't.
one of the things that I
We're all here
learned,
for you. We love you and we support you, no
yes, we
matter.
do. One of the things I did learn though back home was, you know, when people talk about PCSing, PCSing was never hard for people sometimes. But
Yeah.
when you got the TDY orders, so that was the harder part because you knew you were not going to be there that long. And so it was like, with when you PCS, you're probably going to be there for 3 or 4 years. But, you know, when you have that temporary, that's 6 months to a year, maybe.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, and I mean, I knew several people that just TDY'd over to V-Spot And, when you try to make friends with people that do that, you really can't, because they don't want to get attached to people because they know they're going to be gone soon. And so, I mean, it's just, it's just one of those things that you got to know, who you're going to be friends with for the long run, or who you're going to be friends with, short term. And sometimes it's the short term people that you don't realize they're going to turn out to be friends for a while and everything. And then it's
I
just,
don't know. I just kind of float into people's lives, and then I just don't ever go away. I think that's my habit, or my track record there.
Well, see, my whole thing was, I didn't depersonalize when I dealt with people. I just formed intense relationships really quickly with people, like intense connections right off the hop. Because, like I said, I was just very, very always looking for the next adopted family member. Like ever since I was 7, when I moved to Japan, I remember sitting in my bed singing songs about remembering my friends in the States, and
man.
and
And that's one thing that I've definitely taken from back home and being in that life is me and my wife have adopted so many of our kids' friends, kind of like my parents did. You know, I want to say I had a a weird childhood. I didn't really have a weird childhood. I mean, anybody that
I,
knew my parents
I loved your
knew.
parents, and I still love your mom. Okay, I do. I love your parents, and I still love your mama. I'm just saying.
I mean, anybody that had any kind of problems knew they could come to me and my family, and they had a place to stay, food to eat, no matter what it was. I mean, and that is something I carried with me for the rest of my life. And I brought that into my family. Any of my kids' friends, you have an issue, come here. You'll be
Yeah.
taken care of, you'll be safe. I mean, and so, my parents, and it was funny because I remember my parents picking up total strangers from the airport, and they stayed at our house for 2 weeks and everything. And we had no clue who these people were. It's just that's my parents. They help people out. And so it's, something that carried with me. And I mean, I'm one of those that's hey, you ain't got nowhere to go. Come here for a little while, you know?
Yeah.
So it's, you know, I think it was more of my, my own issues that, you know, at that point, it wasn't my parents. My parents were trying to do the best they could with me,
Oh yeah.
but
I think
I
all
was
of us
that one.
you know?
Well, I was always that one that's your parents are going to say no. And I was like, oh, you just told me no. I want to do this more now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was that kid, you know, anybody that knew me in high school definitely knew my parents. The way I dressed at one point, definitely knew my parents were not happy about it at one point, because me and Amber were talking about when I took cosmetology just so I could dye my hair black. I came walking out of cosmetology class, and it was the last class of the day. And my mom's right across the street at the chapel to come pick me up. And my mom looks at me and was like, no, you didn't. And I said, yes, I did.
You looked ridiculous. I'm sorry. I will say it. I will say it again. You looked ridiculous. Okay.
I liked my stuff. Thank you.
As long as you liked yourself, that was great. I thought you looked ridiculous. So, but what is my opinion,
what does it say about my take? Every time I was around Alex, I just felt completely comfortable. Just like,
I mean, I wanted people to feel comfortable around me. I never cared what people thought about me. I mean, everybody knew that. I mean, I'm the guy that came dressed in a 3-piece suit to school and didn't care.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
if
I just hung out with everybody. Like, I loved everybody. I accepted everybody, but apparently I was kind of cold and closed off sometimes. So I do apologize for that. But I don't know.
you,
I just,
you were
I was
you.
always doing something.
you were like a freaking Vulcan, okay? Like you were empathetic, but you were real. And some people think that that's kind of cold, which is a fair and I know I'm sounding like a turbo nerd here, but that'd be a fair critique of Vulcans as a race. Okay, is that they're logical to a fault sometimes, but they at the end of the day they have a heart of gold.
I can't do it, but I can do that. Yeah, I can't do that. I don't have that tendon in my hand, so
Dude,
I can do that.
Dude, we were watching Sliders, okay, and like one of the nerds that like hacks the alien race's database, okay, like he gives them
I see what you're doing with your hands over there. I can't do it. I am itching,
he
you
gives them
guys. I can't do it.
he gives them the Vulcan symbol, okay, and he says live long and
Oh,
and I'm editing that out, okay, don't worry about it. The volume will cut out there. You are not experiencing any service interruptions.
Nope, that's going to be a short, sir.
It will be a short and it will be edited. Yeah, shout outs to Jerry O'Connell.
I love you guys. And since we're getting to an edit part stuff out.
Okay. I'm gonna hit stop record for a sec.
All right.
All right.
I'm eating Oreos.
Oh, are you?
You can eat your Oreos while we're discussing stuff, Amber.
Not too bad.
BetterBitnerBratChat brought to you.
Then I wish we could honestly, but it would get copy struck. Do the whole entire Nabisco, the old theme song with the Nabisco. The ding. Check mark.
Nabisco, if you like the Brat Chat, please reach out.
No, seriously.
We remember all of your old jingles.
So I'm very jingle oriented, like the whole AFRTS jingle and all the AFN stuff and the commissary song about the 5% and all of that stuff.
Oh,
I forgot about the 5% until you sang it. Everybody wonders 5%. I know what you're talking about.
Shout out to Jesse, by the way, for the new opening intro for the Brat Chat.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was great. It reminded me of everything we used to listen to as teenagers. I absolutely loved it. My wife said, "Who the hell was that?" And I was like, "That is Jesse." And she was like, "Does he have more?" And I had to bring her all the way over to Jesse's YouTube page.
Dude, I love making electronic music. My favorite music producer is actually Joel Zimmerman, aka Deadmau5. Which people are, oh, your DJ name was Keeb Mouse and you like Deadmau5. Ha ha ha, that's so stupid. And it's like, okay, I was Keeb Mouse back when I played Unreal Tournament 3. Okay. Because
oh my god.
Yeah.
I have not heard anybody talk about Unreal Tournament in forever.
Well, that's where I got the name Keeb Mouse because I used a keyboard and mouse on the PS3, right? And I was like running circles around people, shooting them in the back of the head. Okay, when they were sitting there with the controller like slow turning. So I actually changed my player tag to Keeb Mouse back then. And anyway, I actually didn't find out about Deadmau5 until I think 2010. Yeah, because I was listening to the song After Hours, which is highly inappropriate for the stream.
Maybe.
But we're editing that part out, right?
What part?
Where we're just talking about randomly video games, because I don't think anybody's going to want to listen to that for like 15 minutes. I'm just saying.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
To watch.
Again, everything that possibly gets edited can become shorts.
True.
And on top of that, when we release blooper reels, it's going to be even better.
Okay. Y'all are going to figure out how to piece this episode together then. That's Joe's project.
It's all on me. I got it. I'll get it done tomorrow well before it's time to post it. So.
Okay. I'm just saying that's Joe's project now for the week.
I think we're almost to that wrapping up point anyway, because we're going into our normal.
Yeah.
We always know what our wrap up point.
I'm hungry and I wanted cookies, and so I had some Oreos.
No, you're fine because you got a thing, Amber. We know when our wrapping point gets to when we start completely veering off the subject of what we were talking about.
I'm just gonna throw this out there because we're talking about my music and I'm a total narcissist.
Yeah, go Jesse.
The Brat Chat theme song is actually a track that I made called Bass to Base, BASS to BASE. And it's available on Bandcamp right now, and all of the money made by that is funding the Brat Chat podcast. So, anyway.
So support us for Jesse's music.
Because we need help. I probably should phrase that different. Not we need help. What?
Nothing. You need the button, don't you, now?
I do. I don't know.
I just had my music playing in the background for.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I heard.
Your music's great. I love the intro that you did there. I know Kat wants to hear more about your music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Dogs. Y'all are gonna step.
I do mainly like tech house kind of stuff. Like, I'm a big fan of like the Super Saw and the 303 Acid synth, and let's see here. I've also kind of dabble in like weird hip hop, trip hop beats kind of stuff.
Have you been following the songs I've been posting?
Oh yeah, dude, you got great taste in music. Always have. Inspired a lot of my taste in music, and I remember all the straight edge bands with the inappropriate names that you're like, yeah, check out this band, and I'm like, I don't even really want to type that into Audio Galaxy. And I did, and sure enough, there's a band with that name, and I'm just like, all right.
There was a reason why I posted. I don't know if you're picking up the backstories on why I'm posting what I'm posting, but like today with Tehran.
Oh man, so the Middle East situation is coming back on us again, I guess. Like,
Okay, now here's the question: do we really want to get into this while we're recording?
all I've got to say is, like we had Zia on the show. All right, there is more to the geopolitical stuff happening than just what's face value. It's really easy to say like, oh well, they have these fundamentalist types that are really against everything that we stand for, and that's the root cause. But there's always more to it than that. There is socioeconomic stuff, there's trade related stuff, there's stuff that revolves around resources chiefly, and you know, I just kind of feel like a lot of that stuff is completely disingenuous. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that I support people who want to attack us for whatever reason. I feel like violence is wrong no matter what stressors cause people to act that way. Okay, but I just kind of feel like I said this when I was in high school, like we're going to get to a point where our generation is in power and we're going to be like, you know what, man? We've kind of been like hanging out online commiserating about the previous generation's complete total disregard for our safety and prosperity, and we're done with it. Because I kind of feel like, but anyway, soapbox.
No, what I was going to say is the scary thing, because of what you were saying, as far as like, it's going to be when our generation is into power. The issue is, it is our generation that's into power. That's the problem right now, because remember those kids, and given me and my sister, we were rocking behind these two kids in high school. And in all honesty, and yes, there's a difference between Southern redneck and Southern roughneck. These were good old Southern rednecks. But walking behind them, you could overhear the conversation. When I grow up, I'm going to get me a trailer. I ain't going to college. Those are the people who are now running our country. Those are our now congressmen. So here's the thing about it. It scared us back then. It's sure as shit scary now.
Yeah. Anyway, like I try not to get wrapped up in that anymore because I used to get really invested in it, and part of my psychotic break revolved around like the political climate and everything with the 2012 election and everything else. And really, what I've come to realize is that all of this stuff that people get worked up over, oh, Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl, I don't care. You know how many languages I've heard, and I stopped being afraid of that, like, after my first week in Japan. Okay, I just don't care about social issues that have no bearing on how we're actually able to live a higher quality of life. Okay, and I'm not saying that there aren't important social issues. I'm just
Well,
saying that, like, screeching about politics online does
oh yeah,
absolutely nothing to make any kind of a difference. And while you're online being an activist, you could be at, like, a soup kitchen or working for Habitat or
or
maybe
writing your local congressman.
right. Absolutely. And
I think Harriet
anyway,
Tubman's on my quarter.
rant over. I love you guys.
No, Jesse, you're
I'm
absolutely
serious.
right. The one thing that I am actually finding as I get older, politics trigger the crap out of me. And it's not because I'm political. I'm very kind of apolitical in that respect. It's because we see the same things over and over and over again, and then they just try to respin it like it's something new. But it's not anything new. We saw this in 1984. It's kind of like everything that's going on right now with like the drug boats and stuff. We saw this during Panama. It's Panama all over again. And we see it every couple of years because it's the government and the stupid cash grab because of our deficit. You always see it's the same exact pattern. 2 years before war, they start talking about the deficit. What happened 2 years ago? COVID. What happened 2 years before the greatest war on terror? Swine flu, mad cow disease. It's the same crap, different day. And this is why I relate to salty combat veterans, because seriously, it's not new. It's nothing new.
By the way, I'm not laughing at the situation we're talking about. I'm laughing at Amber
No,
Why
like,
are you laughing at me?
no, when it
because this subject got brought up and I knew where this was going. And I was like, I'm going to look at this corner right here because I know how long this is about to go.
well, I mean, and
It is
I'm
sad
gonna
you
wrap
would
this.
do
I'm gonna
that.
wrap this up here. Like, I I understand that there are a lot of politicians that are not very high up that actually do this because they have a big heart. Okay, but when I look around and I see people who do things specifically for optics so that they can stay employed in their career
Yeah.
as a politician. Okay, it's some I even forget what politician it was, and quite frankly, it doesn't matter. But I was looking around on Twitter, like, right after Charlie Kirk passed or was assassinated, whatever you wanna call it, and they were like, "Oh, this person said this, and then they went ahead and did this way," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's weird." It's almost like politicians say things in the moment to make themselves look good to voters, and then they kind of just try to memory hole that as soon as possible and move on to the next optical juggle. Okay.
Yeah.
And, like, the sooner you understand that, the sooner you can honestly start thinking about making a more informed decision about who you're voting for. And if you don't want to vote third party, I don't know what to tell you. But something's got to give somewhere because I feel like, and this is one of those things they teach you in therapy. You don't ever say, like, "You're doing this." Okay, I feel like a lot of the people that are in politics, that statistically are higher chance of exhibiting some kind of psychopathic trait, okay? I feel like they're a bunch of sociopaths, okay? And maybe at the state and the local level, there are some people that actually care, but honestly, what are you actually doing for the community besides, whipping them up into whatever moral panic or whatever the case may be to keep yourself in office? Because it's it's like the news media, where the sensationalism sells, sensationalism gets votes. All right, and
Okay, Lord.
I know I'm really bothering Amber really badly right now.
No,
Uh,
you're not bothering her, but I'm waiting because she's wanting to speak and I'm waiting to hear what this, because I think I know where this is about to go.
Let's see. Where do you think it's about to go, Irish? Roll
No,
again?
Nope, Irish Hooligan's not going to speak on where it's about to go because I think I heard it for almost 2 hours the other night.
This is the whole entire reason why. Creedence Clearwater Revival, CCR. Let's go ahead and bring up Fortunate Son when we have our politicians who breed other little politicians and then all of them get elected. But there's so much damn nepotism in Congress that it's not even funny because they are so removed from their constituents that they don't even know what they need to begin with. And so they come up with all of these fundraising things of, hey, I really speak for your causes. But none of them have ever honestly worked as a waitress. None of them have ever honestly changed out a carburetor because they had no other choice to get off the side of the road. And it is because of those reasons we have incompetence because they don't know what this common American citizen has to go through. And that is the problem with our current government. We honestly need to yeet every single person. And yes, I just used the word yeet. Okay. We need to yeet them, in my opinion, and seriously bring in people who are completely unknown with no agenda.
And it's very important. It's very important to say this. Okay, when she says yeet, okay, and I'm speaking to people who might get this twisted because they don't understand the vernacular. Okay, you might hear that and think they're talking about a coup. We could say that she's talking about a insurrection, one could say. No, she's talking about using the system that's there, that we have the right to use, to vote the right people in. Okay, so if you want to get it, if you want to get it twisted, maybe don't be disingenuous.
Okay.
No,
I don't normally speak.
It's the fact that I said,
and I'm told, and sometimes I'm told not to speak when politics are brought up because people on here that know me, and I used to have a very different view of politics. I'm not bringing up why right now. That's a later conversation. Don't say anything.
We do not agree. That's all I'm going to say. Alex and I are on the total opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to political beliefs.
But something you said.
But I love you. I love you.
But something you just said, I'm going to agree with.
What?
About politicians and the now politicians for this generation. Yes, you are right. These are the same people that don't know how to change a tire, don't know how, their car breaks down. They're picking up a phone, calling AAA to help them fix it. They don't.
Number one, they can afford it, right?
Yeah, but
they always could afford it.
Here's also the other thing, and yes, I'm kind of, subquoting a movie, but it's something that was said that I agreed with in the movie. How can you, like, when you have the war on drugs, how can you fight the war on drugs when you have people in office that's never been addicted to drugs, or people that have, never admitted to being addicted to that drug, or people that's never smoked pot, or people that's done cocaine? How can you fight something you don't understand?
Well,
you need people that understand what some of these people are going through, because they don't want to help people. They don't want to they just want to get the drugs off the street. They don't want to help the people that were addicted. They want to give people methadone that's more addictive than meth, heroin, anything like that. I mean, people should not be taking methadone, to be honest with you.
Oh, a lot of that to begin with. And this goes back into the history of drugs in the United States. And you guys, y'all have read my essays, okay? Y'all have heard me give my essays orally in front of classes. The thing about it, when it comes to the entire war on drugs, when we actually look at the whole entire 1923 reefer madness, when marijuana was introduced into the military, and it was introduced into the military for the simple fact of post-traumatic stress disorder. They were actually trying to start to heal people who were coming back from World War I. Okay. When we start talking about trench warfare, that's another warfare. This younger generation, they just have no idea. Okay. But I had family in Flanders. When we start talking about that stuff, and when they started coming back with the PTSD, well, then they started actually, relying on your marijuana, and they started relying on alcohol. They started relying on the alcohol and self-medicating and things, and it was actually touted as a cure. Then it was rebranded when they found out, hey, there are health issues that are concerned with this. So then you actually had the production of reefer madness that came out around the time of Prohibition, like 1929 and 1932 during the Great Depression. Fast forward all the way to like Vietnam and right before Vietnam, because of Korea and everything else. Well, now the government's creating new drugs. And those drugs that they're pushing out into the public for the cure of PTSD and everything else, you're looking at LSD. Okay. This was the birth of like the 1968 psychedelic movement. It was a whole entire movement. Then, because the government did all of that, you had the birth of the punk rock movement. They went ahead and outlawed a whole bunch of stuff. Then you had the, hey, I do cocaine, 1980s, right?
Dr. Roxo, the rock and roll clown.
Exactly. And so then you see all of these other things. Now these kids, these latchkey kids, okay, runaway train soul asylum. How many kids went missing, okay, and were on milk cartons and everything else in the 1980s because their parents really messed up from like the government and the war and everything their family lineage had ever been through in their entire lives, tried to do the best that they could for their kids. But how you see the digression and the progression, even in remotely the family unit, it becomes so scattered and discombobulated from what, was original. And a lot of that has to do with, like I said, just the drugs that the U.S. government pushed to us to begin with, not coming from foreign countries, not coming from XYZ. Yes, we can use that as an excuse. But let's talk about pharmaceuticals in the World Health Organization. What the seriously? Like WTO,
it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are at?
Exactly.
And
why was that even on the news at 10 o'clock?
I think the thing that I would like to say to kind of put a bow on all of this is, we've had some strong opinions here tonight about a lot of this stuff, especially the political stuff. And what I want to try to impress on our audience is that we're not trying to convince you to think one way or the other. We're just trying to convince you to think, because that's the way that we were taught to process information in Dodd schools, was critical thinking. We had Socratic sessions with our English teachers, and every other class, it was a group discussion. And, we weren't taught to hate the government. I don't hate government. Okay, I was taught to be extremely vigilant about who governs me. Okay, and so when we see things like the situation that our peers, like I said, some of us did really great things. Okay, some of us are really taken off right now. Some of us have PhDs. Some of us have OD'd and died. Okay, and
a lot of them.
And we look at that and we say, that's wrong. This should be different. Okay. And it's not a matter of just looking at, well, that's the system. Well, no, we have a say in how this has affected us. At the very least, we have the right to talk about it. Okay. And don't get it twisted. We love our military. We love our government, but we need to have a conversation about what could be better. Okay. Because we actually, excuse my language, we give a shit. Okay. And to all the younger people out there that might be listening to this, we're trying to build something for all of us, so that even though we don't have that hometown to go back to, we still have each other at the end of the day.
Yeah, we still have something to go to.
Exactly. And we're here for each other. We're better than therapy for each other.
Well, the whole entire Socratic method too, because seriously, if you look at my beliefs, okay, now please nobody take this the wrong way, and I know somebody's going to, because sometimes I have a way of wording things, but I am a democratic socialist in the heart of Trump County. Okay, this is literally Bernie Sanders speaking before Donald Trump at one of like his rally sort of thing, like where I'm living right now. And I disagree with people. But I listen to Trump supporters. I listen to everybody, and I do that so I can make those own decisions for myself to have those strong opinions. because I have some very strong opinions, and trust me, anybody who meets me, they know them because I make them known. But that's the entire thing. You have to be able to discuss things, because how can you honestly dissect something that doesn't make sense?
Yeah. And that, I've seen a lot of
That's what I'm
debates.
trying
Like
to
there are a lot of people on YouTube that I just absolutely can't stand. And I will never debate them. They probably see me as beneath them anyway. So I'm not going to name them, but I will, as the kids say, subtweet them. Okay. When I see something that says epic debate between this person and a prominent creationist, and both of them sit there and just yell straw man fallacies at each other about what they perceive the opposition to be, that's not a debate. That's sensationalist crap. And if I've done anything here tonight, it's demonstrate how much I hate the fact that sensationalism is used just to track more money from an audience. All right.
What's
And
happened to Amber?
that being said, we did lose Amber here. I'm gonna go ahead and let's see more options. Let's see. Huh.
Yeah, Amber's stuff just like tweaked out, and
Yeah, it did, didn't it? It's okay. I'm heavily editing tomorrow. Okay, hold on. But yes, I am going to go ahead and wrap up the podcast here. I've got a lot of editing to do. I might get some of that done tonight. Unfortunately, Amber did have to bow out because of issues with her phone. I will try to get a summation of what she would like to say about the podcast recorded with her as soon as I can. Thank you again, Alex, for coming on the show tonight.
you're welcome.
I
It was
know
great as always.
we talked way more than we should have, and I apologize. I'd like to give you some more time at some point because
Y'all,
I want you to become
this
a
is this.
permanent fixture around here.
Well, this is what the three of us do. So it, I have fun listening to everybody, and it never bothers me when we talk like this. I mean,
Yeah,
like I said, it's good for me. It's good for everybody. It seems like, and
and
so,
that's the
and
thing.
this is always fun.
Like to all the folks out there that oh wow, and it's not recording video. That's fun. This is so
Of
dumb,
course.
man. Why is it not recording video? Select a window to capture. I did. There we go. Cool. And now we've got advertisements for stupid little Facebook games on our video. Nice.
They better pay us then.
Anyway, so thank you everybody. If you're listening to this and you think you might want to come on our show to chat with us, just to commiserate or celebrate or play or hate, whatever, we will talk to you all then. So for now, thanks for sticking with us through all of this and sticking with us. You love to be here. Come back next time. We will see you all very soon. We love you and God bless.